Did you know that with just a few basic mods, you could be destroying cars that cost twice as much as your M3 or M4? You think I'm lying? Roll the film. S55 powered cars in these videos have the same mods, and it's really not that complicated. What if I told you you could pay for all of these mods with the money that comes in the average tax return? In case you're wondering, that was about $2,827 in 2020. Imagine winning a race against an exotic car owner who probably paid over $100,000 for their car. You probably paid somewhere around $50,000 for your car and only added a couple $1,000s in mods, and you're destroying them. In this video, we will be discussing the upgrade path that will allow you to destroy these supercars in a BMW. Spoiler, this is the upgrade path that I will be following in my own F80 M3. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. If you want to follow this journey that starts now, hit the subscribe button. Let's dive into the video. Before we start discussing mods, I want to talk about a few caveats of modding an S55 powered car. The first one is the crank hub. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with this one, but I have to mention it. If you do not know, it is a shortcoming of the S55 engine. And in some cases, it can lead to catastrophic engine failure. Replacing it with a redesigned piece is essentially the only way to prevent the crank hub itself from spinning. This issue is incredibly controversial because there are people who have 600 horsepower F80 M3s and have been driving it for years without any sign of a spun crank hub. Then on the other hand, you have people who have stock cars and they've spun their crank hub. The truth is, the data is inconclusive. It's kind of like one of those he said, she said type of things. However, it seems like there is a correlation to having higher power when it comes to spinning your crank hub. And that's probably over 600 horsepower. N55 engines have the same exact crank hub design, but they don't spin. Well, the N55 has a lot more horsepower. You bump the power up in it, you're gonna start to see signs of crank hub failure, which some people with those engines have reported. Now, the solution is several $1,000s to fix it if you don't ever want to spin your crank hub. But in the case of this video, we're trying to do things on a budget, so I have a cheaper solution that may be effective for this time, and that is the crank bolt capture. This is a $100 or so part that you can apply, and it basically prevents the crank hub bolt from backing out in the event of a spun crank hub. Now, when the bolt backs out, that is when the catastrophic engine damage is caused, and this nifty little part will keep that in so that you have a spun crank hub, but you won't have a destroyed engine. So I highly recommend this part, and I'm going to be applying it myself. Secondly, I want to quickly mention maintenance. Without proper maintenance, you will not get the results on the performance front that you want. That means having your spark plugs updated. You're gonna wanna go with 1 step colder spark plugs. You're gonna wanna gap them down a little bit more. I'll have the gap numbers in the description. And you're also gonna want to make sure that your oil changes are up to date, that your coolant is changed, etc. All the basic maintenance stuff. Maintenance first. If you had an N54, you should know that. Now that that is out of the way, it's time to talk about the fun stuff. So the first mod is very, very simple, and that is a downpipe for your F80 M3. The first mod is the foundation to making more power on pretty much any turbocharged car. In order to beat exotic cars, you're going to need to increase the boost. And to increase the boost, you need to reduce the back pressure in the exhaust that is caused by the catalytic converters. Now, a year or so ago, I would say that you should get catless downpipes, but the laws and regulations around these things are changing so much. It's getting harder and harder to get away with these things. The EPA is cracking down on them. So I honestly recommend high flow downpipes, which still have a catalytic converter in them and will still allow you to hopefully be able to pass inspection each year. Now, while you don't get as much of the perceived gains with a high flow downpipe, you avoid the smell and you just avoid the potential legal trouble that you can get in. I would hate to have to change my downpipe each time I need to get my car inspected. It just is so annoying. But besides that, with a high flow downpipe, you will enjoy increased sound. Some people don't like the increased rasp that downpipes give you on the F80 M3, but it's a necessary mod. You have to do it. The downpipes I recommend and I will be purchasing soon are the Turner Motorsports high flow downpipes. They cost about $560, and for catted downpipes, that's honestly a pretty good deal to have the extra power and also stay out of trouble. All the links for everything I recommend will be in the description, so you can go pick it up yourself when you're ready. Next, let's talk about intake. This will be required to support the higher airflow of increasing your boost. There are mixed sources on whether or not you actually need intakes. I personally don't think that it matters, but if you want the extra sound, I would say go for intakes. For the value that you get for what you pay for it, I think it's worth it. There are many intakes for the F80 M3, but the budget-friendly option is the VRSF High Flow Intake Kit. Now, it is not the eye candy choice. It is not the Venturi intakes that have carbon fiber and look like they came out of like a Lamborghini or Ferrari. But it is the functional choice that will get the job done for, wait, $279.95. Now, let's recap so far. We are only at $1,000 for all the mods you need to beat a supercar right now. $1,000. If you like what you've heard already and you're interested in following the same upgrade path, please hit the like button and give this channel a subscribe. I'm not kidding when I say I'm going to be following this upgrade path myself. For each like that I see down there, that means to me another butthurt supercar owner, and that just gives me joy. Now we are going to need a tune to take advantage of these very simple bolt-ons for the F80 M3. Personally, I recommend Boot Mod. I've used that in my previous builds and I have had no issues with it. It's easy to use and it seems to be recommended by a lot of enthusiasts. You are going to need Boot Mod, but they're off-the-shelf tunes, which are these basic pre-programmed tunes that they offer, are not going to cut it. Their stage 2 93 octane tune is not going to get you to exotic car destroying levels. In order to make this work, you're going to need E85. You're gonna need some of that corn, and not just the blend, the full thing. And hopefully you have E85 gas stations around you. Boot Mod does not offer any off-the-shelf E85 tunes, so you're going to have to work with a custom tuner like Cary Jordan, aka Jordan Tuned. This Cary Jordan tune is going to set you back about $799, and it's going to take some time to get the car dialed in properly. You'll have to do remote tuning sessions where you data log the car and you send it over to the tuner and he refines the tune, gives you revisions. You flash the tune using Boot Mod. It's really cool how it works. I mean, Boot Mod is a cloud-based tuning service. Absolutely insane how far we've come with tech. Anyways, the Cary Jordan tune is very expensive, but it will give you the assurance you will not have any problems. He's been in this tuning game for a while and you can trust. You want somebody who knows what they're doing because This could end in catastrophic engine failure if not done correct. Now, he has several different packages, and that is the S1, S2, S2 Hybrid, and S2 Plus. I like to keep things on the conservative side, so I'm going to honestly recommend the either S2 or S1. That will get you at about 540 to 560 wheel horsepower, which is close or even above 600 to the crank. Now, you can go crazy and do the S2 Hybrid or the S2 Plus, but keep in mind you will be maxing out your turbos at that point. After all of this said and done, it will cost you about $595 for the boot mod license, the ability to flash it on your car, and $799 for the custom tune, which all in all will total about $1,400. Altogether, we are at $2,238.90 for everything to build a supercar destroying F80 M3, including the crank bolt capture and the upgraded plugs. This does not include labor, but some of this stuff you can do on your own. I'm not doing it on my own, so don't ask me. Now, obviously, a lot of this information is a baseline. There may be more that you want to do to bolster your performance, including the crank hub, charge pipes, and upgraded liquid to air intercooler. These are all things that I hope to do. I don't necessarily have the money for all of that, but sponsors, please partner with me. I need help. But if your goal is to go quick, simply, this is your answer. This, my friends, puts you in the same room as Huracan and McLaren 570S owners. You can talk crap to them because now with these mods, you have a car that can destroy them. Not to mention the reliability and usability of a 4-door sedan or a 2-door coupe. With these tunes, this isn't compromised. I know the experts will comment and say that you shouldn't cheap out on your build, and there's merit to that point of view. But not everybody has the ability to build a balls to the wall F80 M3. So please judge your privilege and don't judge others. From this point, you can be satisfied with the supercar performance, or you can push it even further with upgraded turbos, single turbo, pure stage 2 turbos, whatever you want. And the next time that you're out on the highway and you see a supercar, maybe it's a GTR, maybe it's a Huracan, maybe it's a McLaren 570S. Now, with these mods, you can give them a run for their money. Unless they're upgraded, then you're probably screwed. Sorry about that. If you're in the market for F80 M3 and you're interested in the state of the market, go back and take a look at my video that I made about why it's the worst time ever to buy one. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.